Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn says newly crowned Mexican unified heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz Jr. is using the entire situation with DILLIAN, the body snatcher Whyte, as a scapegoat to avoid fighting former unified British heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua in the UK, but we will be having none of it, and we'll be dragging him to the UK. Stay tuned, coming up next.
Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn is at it once again, as he states that former unified British heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua will be making a decision as to where the rematch is in the next 48 hours because it's all up to him. The ball is in his court. Andy Ruiz Jr. has no say-so in this entire situation. Eddie Hearn then also says that Andy Ruiz Jr. is using this DILLIAN Whyte alleged failed test in the UK and UKAD and VADA, and it was covered up for 72 hours. They did not inform then undefeated Colombian heavyweight contender Oscar Rivas any of the failed allegedly tests. Now he's saying that it's convenient for Andy Ruiz Jr., newly crowned unified Mexican heavyweight champion who defeated Anthony Joshua June 1st. Now they're stating that Eddie Hearn is stating that this is convenient for Andy Ruiz Jr. and he's using it as a scapegoat to get out of fighting Anthony Joshua in the UK, but we will have none of it, as we will force him to fight in the UK, as Cardiff is still the front runner. And Eddie Hearn, now here's what I have to say about this. Eddie Hearn switches his stories like he switches his draws, if that's the case, right? I don't know what that man does in his private life. I'm just using it as an example, right? Eddie Hearn switches his story daily, right? One day he says the States, US, is the front runner. He believes that's where it's going to take place. The next day he's saying UK is the front runner. Now again, just yesterday he said the States was the front runner. Now he's saying the UK is the front runner. I'm going to tell you this, guys. If you can't pick sense from nonsense, that means Eddie Hearn doesn't have a handle on this situation. That means Andy Ruiz Jr. and his team have the upper hand in this situation, and they're standing firm on what they believe and what they want. This is a clear indicator that Eddie Hearn is grabbing at straws right now, trying to shame Andy Ruiz Jr. and his team and everybody involved on Andy Ruiz's side to, succumb to the pressure that Eddie Hearn is trying to put on in the public to force Andy Ruiz Jr. to say, you know what, a ring is a ring and I'll fight him anywhere. This is what Eddie Hearn is trying to do, but he doesn't have a leg up on Andy Ruiz Jr. because if he did, he wouldn't be talking like this, okay? There would be no need to talk like this if you had everything squared away and you had a firm control and a firm handle on this entire situation. If you had your way, if Eddie Hearn had his way and the contract could have been signed immediately the night of June 2nd, right? And I'm saying June 2nd due to the fact that obviously the fight ended after 12 midnight here in the States, so it's the 2nd, right? It's no longer the 1st, okay? So June 2nd, if Eddie Hearn had his way, the contracts would have been signed for the fight to take place over in the UK right then and there. Eddie Hearn drastically wants this fight dramatically, right? Desperately wants this fight to take place in the UK. He does not want this fight to take place in the States. He does not want this fight to take place on anybody else's soil but the UK soil because he wants every advantage possible for his fighter, former unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn does not fully believe that Anthony Joshua could beat Andy Ruiz Jr. Point blank and period. He wants him to have every advantage possible, that being coming in the form of referee, allegedly, judges, allegedly, home cooking, his own pillow, so on and so forth, right? Because he saw how the fight played out, and Eddie Hearn sees that and understands that style make fights. He thinks that Anthony Joshua style doesn't mesh well with that of Andy Ruiz. It doesn't match up well. It doesn't match up well. Andy Ruiz's style is all wrong for Anthony Joshua, and Eddie Hearn understands this. Eddie Hearn wants every advantage possible going into this fight. The thing is, Andy Ruiz Jr. has been there, done that when he fought Joseph Parker in Venezuela and got the short end of the stick. And Andy Ruiz Jr. is not willing to go through that again, especially on the heels of getting the biggest victory in his career. So this lets you know, this is a clear indicator that Andy Ruiz Jr. and his team are standing firm on what they want and what they believe. And this is dragging out, right? Eddie Hearn told the public that he was going to make an announcement 3.5 weeks ago. Every week he's telling you there's going to be an announcement. Now he's telling you within the next 48 hours, Anthony Joshua, who's in firm control, quote unquote, will make a decision on where the fight is going to take place in the next 48 hours, and then they will inform Andy Ruiz Jr. and his team, as if Andy Ruiz Jr. and his team are sitting on their hands, twiddling their thumbs, and saying, what is Anthony Joshua going to decide? If you believe that, right, you'll believe anything, okay? So with that said, you know, Eddie Hearn right now is grasping at straws because Eddie Hearn is losing a firm grip. He has lost a grip on this situation, and Andy Ruiz Jr. is coming up with more and more cases to make a case for himself to why this fight should take place in the States. And he has a strong team behind him, as he's with the PBC. They're going to make the best decision possible for Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz Jr. is now the unified heavyweight champion, so he has a leg to stand on. And Eddie Hearn continues to point back at the past contract. Listen, honor your original contract. You know, be a man of your word, as I trust. You see, you could tell from the wordplay that Eddie Hearn uses that he doesn't have a firm grip on this situation, right? And they're not in control. They will not call the shots, right? You see, he uses words like, you should be a man of your word and honor your contract. As you see, that's number one. You already signed this contract. You know, you already knew what you was getting. Number two, right? See, these are signs that, you know, he doesn't have control of the situation no more. So he's trying to point back to loyals and morals, loyalty, right? And morals. Listen, honor, be a man of your word and honor your contract. You already signed it. And then he uses things like, well, we gave you a chance. We gave you an opportunity when, you know, your name wasn't ringing bells, and we reached down in the hat and pulled your name out and gave you the opportunity. So now do it, return the favor. Why do we need to return the favor if you were in charge? You wouldn't ask anybody to return the favor, right? And then he goes on to say, do us a favor in another interview, right? Do us a favor, and we did you a favor, now do us a favor. So if Andy Ruiz Jr. had no say-so and everything was up to Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, then why would you be asking him to do you a favor? And then he reaches, then this is the ultimate grasp, right? He goes, well, you know, there will be legal obligations if you don't honor what you already signed. See, now you're threatening with law, right? You're going to take him to court. You see what I'm saying? So this further lets you know that Anthony Joshua is not making no decision in 48 hours without Andy Ruiz's consent. Eddie Hearn has no control over this situation. He's a fish out of water right now, and he don't know what to do. He's squirming, right? He's trying to shame Andy Ruiz in the public eye, to turn the fans and the public against Andy Ruiz, so that way people could say, well, you signed the contract, now you breaching it. You understand? Oh, you signed the contract, now you don't want to fight in the UK, or now you're scared in the UK. See, these are reverse psychology tactics that Eddie Hearn is trying to use to get Andy Ruiz Jr. to say, well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I could beat this dude wherever it takes place. Because, see, that's where Eddie Hearn said that, and that's what he said that Anthony Joshua did. He said that Anthony Joshua's, the world knows Anthony Joshua's first choice to have the rematch is back at, like, Anthony Joshua, and I've been saying, and Eddie Hearn rebutted what I and Anthony Joshua said, is back at the scene of the crime in New York at Madison Square Garden. That was Anthony Joshua's first decision. That was the first thing that popped up in his brain to where this fight needs to take place. But you get guys like Eddie Hearn and their team that trying to talk him out of it. And then he goes on to say that Anthony Joshua then later on said, well, oh, you know what? It's up to you, wherever you want to have it. See, that's the mindset of somebody that's been pestimized, right? Somebody that you consistently can continue to say, oh, come on, let's do it here, let's do it here, let's do it, and you get tired, right? You get mentally fatigued, and then you turn and you say, listen, you know what it is what it is. So see, Eddie Hearn doesn't even realize what he's saying. He doesn't even realize what he's putting out to the public. He doesn't grasp what he's putting out there until later on, and then he has to switch his story. So see, for Anthony Joshua to switch from wanting to have the fight back at the scene of the crime, as Eddie Hearn admitted to, he said that Anthony Joshua is mad. He says that he wants to have the fight back at the scene of the crime. Okay, we saw immediately after the fight, Anthony Joshua rebutted the same thing. Prior to that, though, Anthony Joshua said he doesn't even know if he wants the rematch. He has to see. He has to see where life where he ends up. So now he went from that to saying, listen, I want the fight in the States. Now you're saying, we've never heard Anthony Joshua say he wanted the rematch in the UK. You've never heard him say that. Go back to one interview where Anthony Joshua said he wanted the rematch in the UK. You can't find it. The only person mentioning this and bringing that up is Eddie Hearn. Because they don't believe in Anthony Joshua, point blank and period. That's the bottom line. So, like I said, Eddie Hearn does not have a grasp on this. He's not in control. Andy Ruiz and his team are in control. This is a clear indication of this. Anthony Joshua is not going to make a decision in the next 48 hours without Andy Ruiz Jr. consent. Andy Ruiz is not sitting on his hands waiting for Anthony Joshua to make a decision to where and when the rematch is going to be. Trust and believe that. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for you. Peace.